Good morning. This is the Great Basin Prescribed Fire Weather Briefing for Monday, November 4th. Fire activity, you can see our projects in these purple circles through here. Some of our existing recent incidents where there's still some patrols for smoldering and creeping indicated by these open circles through here, but you can see we have no new fires, which are typically given by the small red circles. For the past 7 days, it's been a fairly wet week across northern and central areas. You can see on the left here, these green areas to dark green are half inch to over an inch of precipitation. And they're definitely more confined to the higher and middle elevations. Valley areas, more of a tenth to a quarter inch of precipitation. But we had some of that even down in the Vegas and Arizona Strip area. 100-hour fuels, still lingering dryness in the upper single digits in the far south, but getting more moist as you head further north, especially up in Idaho. The 1,000-hour heavier fuels take a lot longer to respond to precipitation. It's also duration. Still seeing some unusually dry numbers here across southern and southeastern Nevada, but starting to come up quite a bit further north. We've had some recent snowfall. You can see here in the central Idaho mountains and parts of the Utah higher elevations, these yellow to orange areas indicate anywhere from about 6 to 12 inches of new snowfall. The darker blue shades are anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of snowfall. You can see obviously missing the valleys, but hitting most of the mountain chains across the Great Basin. Snow cover on the map indicated here. You see some of these lighter blue colors here. So there's about 4 to 8 inches of snow on the ground across much of the central Idaho mountains, and especially western Wyoming and the Wasatch and Uintas, and a few inches even across the higher terrain of northern Nevada, as well as the Sierra. Satellite imagery, clear skies over us, but we see a series of storm systems lining up. One's pushing into British Columbia. A second one we'll be watching as it moves swiftly out of the Bering Sea and down into the Gulf of Alaska, and should approach our region in the next 2 days or so. So for this afternoon, here's the map. One storm system departs. It's over Colorado right now. You can see the edge of the next storm system in the green well offshore. Otherwise, some drier air coming in, but strong northerly winds bringing in cooler air. Good ventilation. See a lot of areas in the yellow and white. That indicates good mixing, both vertically and horizontally. We can look at the surface winds through here. Fairly light, but out of the north in most areas. But you can see them. The north winds tend to get orographically enhanced down into southwest Utah, parts of Nevada. You can also see the relative humidities, minimum humidities, quite high, 50 to 78% up in the north. Drier though in the Vegas area where those north winds are, down into the low and mid-teens. So just a little bit of a concern that some dryness with stronger winds can make things a little interesting down there. And you can see it more on the transport winds. Southwest, we have downsloping winds from Cedar City down to St. George in the Arizona Strip. Some gusts of 30, 35 miles an hour. At the transport level. Also same story in the Vegas area. Also increasing southwest winds up in the Idaho mountains ahead of the next storm system. Vertical mixing several thousand feet above ground level. Very good vertical mixing. Now for tomorrow, low pressure develops over Montana. We have a cold and somewhat moist northwest flow, which enhances precipitation across parts of northern Utah, so we could see some light to locally moderate precipitation and probably low snow levels. So more snow than rain in a lot of areas, maybe even down to the valley floor on Tuesday. Excellent overall dispersion. Strong transport winds up here. These orange shades, actually these are surface winds of 20 to 30 miles an hour, but if you look at the humidity on the right-hand side, that comes with much higher humidity. Still some dryness, upper teens in the far south, and even in western Nevada near Reno, upper teens near 20% for minimum humidities. Transport wind shows very strong transport winds, but like I said, coming with higher humidity and probably precipitation on northwest flow. Excellent overall mixing though. The low pressure area shifts eastwards. On Wednesday, we get a dry, strong northerly flow of air, also keeping the overall dispersion ventilation good. See those northerly winds, strongest across Utah in these greenish areas at the surface, maybe 15 to 20 miles an hour. Surface winds of 20 to 30 miles an hour in the south, where we have those low humidities. And again, you see those transport winds, which are also indicative of peak wind gusts, and you can see a lot of them quite strong again down in the south when you have those north winds. If we do get any surprise of a new fire start, we would have to watch that area from St. George down to Vegas and parts of the adjacent Arizona Strip. 3-day precipitation totals indicated through here, some light to locally moderate amounts across the higher terrain. It's going to be cold though. It's going to be in the form of snow. On Thursday, that deep low pressure area now intensifying over Arizona, so we continue with that strong northerly flow, again enhancing areas down in the southern portions of the geographic area, and that northerly flow continues on Friday, but dry air. We start warming up. We also start seeing less wind and kind of a weak high pressure field building in. And whenever we get that this time of year, stagnation starts to creep in. So you notice on the ventilation index by this weekend, a lot more areas in the red, no more whites and yellows. That means overall dispersion will start to decrease. Skies could become a little hazier. Air quality for any burns becoming more questionable, especially in those areas in the red. But on Sunday, we'll be watching a new approaching storm system, which could improve some of that ventilation from west to east as we go into early next week. Precipitation accumulation, this will be a Friday to Saturday night, pretty dry for the area. And then by late Saturday night into early Tuesday, day 6 and 7, we see the leading edge of that next storm system with light to moderate precipitation across northern and western portions of the geographic area. 7-day precipitation totals through here, covering most areas except for most of Nevada, which stays dry. The 8 to 14, the outlook continues to be on the cold side across most areas. This is November 11th through the 17th, and a wetter than normal signal coming through for most areas. So we continue with this more of a cooler winter pattern as we go into early and mid November. This concludes our smoke briefing, which we'll be doing on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays during the off season. Have a great day.